the record there. I'm going to take this upstairs. Oh man. So yeah, we're already talking international stuff, but this I reckon is something that our fans will enjoy talking about. This it's got to be the worst official breakdancing in all of history. I mean, I know that these wokies are really delusional, right? They don't really see themselves outside of themselves. They don't have the practice of critical thinking and the self-awareness. But that was really definitely the most interesting delusional breakdancing I've ever seen. And the fact that she got 0 points is just I mean,
0 points. Yeah.
So my question is, Andy, how are the countrymen reacting to this?
Well, I don't actually know nothing about it, Lamont. I must be living.
No way. She's done more to embarrass Australia.
That's fucking hilarious, Andy. You want to get her on the cricket team, man? She's a fucking total star. You want to see that? Right. Now, what she was doing, and absolutely thought was breakdancing. Which it was kind of odd shuddering and writhing around on the floor, and there was no athleticism in it. I mean, she's patently been told by a coach how wonderful she is while she's been doing that, and a coach must have been applauding her and coaxing her a little ego along. And then she's gone and done that. Wow! Everyone was just stood watching it, totally aghast. Oh, fuck.
Was that the Olympics?
I'm gonna
hilarious, Andy.
In the Skype, I'll post the bearing link for you to watch. But it is as you folks across the pond say, a real pisser. I couldn't believe it is technically interpretive dance that she's doing, but it's a breakdance. Breakdancing is, of course, extremely physically demanding. And she's been out of her physical prime to do that kind of dancing for a long time. I can tell she's not in the kind of shape that you would need to be. So she's not an Olympian of that level. But for whatever reason, Australia actually chose her. It's like they didn't even watch one Red Bull competition video to see what breakdancing actually looks like. And then they were like, "Yeah, it sounds good. She's got a feminist credentials. She's a dancer, and she's got some underwater basket weaving in her background. That ought to do." It is really fucking hilarious. It's just the most delusional shit. It's like the guy, like we were talking about earlier, that British bloke who thinks he's going to arrest Americans. It's the delusion is just unreal.
So he's the head of the London Police, Andy. He's the London Police Commissioner who works for Sadiq Khan. He's Sadiq Khan's little best mate. He's the one who's going to arrest Elon Musk for saying there could be a civil war in Britain. That's for hate speech. He's arrested. Yeah, what a fucking idiot, man. Who's paying his wages?
These meetings here. She went to the Olympics to get gold in the Victim Olympics. And delusion is a hell of a drug.
Hey, Ramon, she mightn't have gone to the Olympics to get gold. She might have just gone to the Olympics because it was.
No, she wanted to go because when she gets roasted, then she can claim the patriarchy hates women. You know, that's the game is go and then become an instant victim in your life because you did your best. It's so wonderful. You deserve a participation trophy, that kind of bullshit. And when that didn't happen and she got roasted, then the team leader for Australia actually, and it's in the Bearing video, actually came out defending like it's just horrible what the internet's been doing to her. And I'm sitting there going,
victimized her. Yeah, she's a victim.
She's a victim.
Of your nastiness, give her a gold medal because you've been rude, you've been naughty to her because she's a woman. Absolutely hilarious. She was a bit like when I watched this program with Ricky Gervais at The Office years ago, and they were doing this kind of office team building. I didn't realise he was doing a piss take. And he'd come on and do this little dance to all these office workers, and then expect this rapturous applause because he was the manager. And of course, some of them were clapping, and it's like it was the same level of kind of just insensitivity to his surroundings that we were laughing at that Australian so-called breakdancer were doing. I mean, when you compare it with breakdancing, like you said, you know, you get like 9-year-old professional breakdancers from back then, and compare that to that. Wow. Anyway, hilarious, really. You're going to have to watch it, Andy.
Well, I thought it would just be funny to be able to take the piss out of the Australian for a second about that, because it's just one of those moments. I'm like, what happened? That, like, did Australia, the Olympic team, not get the memo? Like, the Olympics are for the best of the best. Like, what?
Oh wow, yeah.
No, that's not right, Ramon. Because we got to be a third overall in the Olympics. Fourth, right? So, you know, the best of the best. You got to say, some years you have, you know. So
You guys might have gotten second if it weren't for her, you know.
Diplomatic participation.
Well, I think you need to get some more lads in that ladies boxing team anyway, Andy. You should get a few more goals in. No, I'm only joking, mate. But having that Moroccan kind of bloke winning a gold medal, I found quite strange.
Yep, that's right. You know, like it was, you know, like some of it I seen, it wasn't too bad. Like we watched the young Australian girl that won that. What was it? What do they call it, Donna? That kayaker. Samantha Fox and that. That was a good competition. That, you know, like I think to win that you got to have a little bit of luck on your side too.
Oh, there's still some good sportsmen there, yeah. Of course there are. But it's just been so politicised, hasn't it? You know, and I can't imagine what that opening event was, that anti-Christian opening event, which was a strange thing. Macron, though, because he's a kind of disgusting kind of, well, he's obviously perverted, crazy, sociopathic, psychopathic crackpot. But yeah, it seems to have regained his international prestige somehow, in his own world anyway.
Well, you see, that's it, Nick. I've come to the realisation that there's all these different tiers and it's all their little levels. You know, they might as well be living in their own dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just the way I see it at times.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to think recently of how these binary systems could work when they kind of obviously nested as well, and that's so this is how I'm going to try and look at this this problem. I've just been watching a Sebastian Larg program. He's a kind of genius programmer. So I refer to his stuff quite a lot. Well, he's just written a synthesizer within the space of about 10 minutes. Something else is. It'd take me a month probably. But anyway, yeah. So I'm looking at ways to get this the input of these planetary positions together to find out if what movements are influencing what planets, and I think I'm having a, well, obviously this gravitation thing doesn't work, but there is something which will show the direction of movement of a charged particle in a well, this says an electrical environment, but I presume it means a magnetic environment. A magnetic environment. Oh, I don't know. So I'm looking at different ways of hopefully being able to model Oh, you're fucking idiots here. Oh, God. Yeah, to model these interactions, because it seems, yeah, you can't do it simply with gravity, reaction. I think you've got to model the whole field, and how would I know Birkeland currents can entangle. Thereby, I mean, I think there may be more than just two systems that have entangled to create the solar system. I think for some reason I'm getting that hunch that it's more than two systems, so we've got to be out using this Bray thing. We've got a decent idea of where these fields wrap around because of the travel and direction and things of the planet. And I wonder how when you have these twisting effects in the Birkeland current, a very slow kind of motion, with say a planetary body at the centre of that twist, and it seems to always be binary systems. So we might be able to see if we're in a slightly binary system with the Earth and the Sun. It looks like there's some kind of interweaving or melding, maybe. But if the Earth is almost, just traveling at walking speed in the XY plane, in a Birkeland current, we'd presumably be in the most energetic zone. However, we seem to be in a very quiet zone, if that is the case. And it also seems the moon then takes a much more central role in the whole picture, Mars, because it's the closest thing to the Earth-Mars barycenter periodically. Now, even the other day, I think it was Stefan who mentioned that there was somebody mentioned that there was a magnitude 6 earthquake under the very region of the moon, which aligned totally with Mars's last closest orbit, which the closest it gets, I think, is about 53 million miles. I think that's about the same distance to the sun, generally. So it's an amazing system. And I'm just wondering how these two would interact. How can you explain how these binary systems work in the first place, electromagnetically? It looks like this kind of yin and yang planets, a positive and a negative one, and which seem to be binary pairs, as there whiz along on the opposite side of the filament. How do these filaments interact? When they separate again, the filaments seem to come together and then separate again sometimes. And there still remain filaments that travel for billions of miles, millions of miles. Well, billions probably. So I mean, it's almost, if you were to put that system into a classic, I suppose a classic Birkeland current, a one thing with just concentric circles going on and with the opposite rotations, etc. You wouldn't be able to show that complex revolution of Mars in that system with the sun orbiting around the barycenter. So it's just a little bit of a mental problem of how to get this into a neural network that can find out these relations. That's what I've been trying to think of. I'm sure someone will have done something like it before, so it'll be just a matter of research, I guess.
Nick, what I was going to say was, I was watching something a couple of days ago, and they were talking about where suns, like what they observe, throw a lot of planets out or draw the planets in, and then boom, right? So when you say, our system could be, it could be that you have groups that are thrown out from different, and then eventually they've joined up, and that could be one of the things to it, because like I've come across, and you have too, different ones talking about the merging, of you had the Saturnian system and all that, and they all, and you probably had one with Jupiter too.
Yeah.
So, and it's quite possible that some of them been thrown out of other systems, and then they've all joined up through whatever, and then they've created their own system with the current sun. So.
Yeah. And it seems like if the sun has recently appeared, it wouldn't necessarily be in the centre of all that system. And I think these planets, these mass estimates are totally wrong. I think it's absolutely estimates about all these. Well, because they've got the speed going complete. If we're not doing this, what is it, 90,000 kilometres per hour? We're just doing walking speed. It kind of throws the mass calculations out massively. So, we've got to find a different way of calculating our mass, really, I think. If these stars are much closer, how do we calculate the mass of something like Mars or the Moon? I think you've got to make certain assumptions anyway. A lot of them really. Yeah, I'm sure better minds than mine have thought of pondered out about all that. But yeah, that's just all I've been thinking about really at the moment. So, really. So that's good. Keeps my mind busy. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick, I had to help the boss a bit, but no, I understand where you're coming from with that, and I don't know if we'll ever find all the answers.
I mean,
probably change anyway.
I'm just interested, Andy. I mean, one way of going forward, might to see exactly what they think is happening on Sirius, because that expresses these rotations pretty well. The rotations that Tycho Brahe are doing. Tycho Brahe.
Yep.
He says it's a mirror system. Earth, Moon, and Mars, and the Sun is mirrored in that system. So if they can come to, obviously they're assigning it absolutely immense gravities and speeds and things to that. So that's it. So I think they're on the wrong track as a non-starter with that. I mean, they revise the distances to these stars by upwards of like 40% from here. So it's you just can't rely on anything that they're releasing as far as data goes. It's crazy. We're going to have a look at it again from a closer perspective. But I am very interested to see, what the research is on these binary stars and the dynamics as they move through, because it might, some of these wobbles that we see on the closest stars might not actually be assigned to the planet, to the star wobbling around, but to us actually doing a rotation with the sun, possibly. So, it's worth looking at. Or, there could be other reasons anyway. So yeah, there's a lot to look at.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. Like up until recently, with satellites and all that we've got now, we have been limited, and now we've got what we've got. Are they really going to let the data out for people to know, or is it too contentious to let it out for a lot of things? So that's another interesting point.
Yeah, I guess it gets let out to universities, but I suppose a lot of the universities produce their own data as well. But then if you've got a sort of a team of staged astronomers who they apply these certain transforms, there are all these mathematical transforms they do to establish where something is and what vector it's heading on. Put it first on the Earth frame and shift that into the solar frame, and then and this is then how they describe these motions. Now, if that solar frame is kind of wrong, we will have aberrant data, and they had actually to throw away like 6 months worth of Gaia data when I was looking at it last time, because it didn't correspond to anything we were seeing from the Earth. And I think the Gaia satellites meant to be like floating behind us in this orbit behind the sun, and it seems to be sending back all this haywire data. So we're struggling a little bit with that project, because obviously the satellite isn't moving the way that we planned it to move.
Now I've got you, Nick. So the satellite isn't actually moving how they predicted it should move.
Well, it seems like that, because the thing is with these, there's meant to be a stable point in the orbit of the Earth, which is about it's something like it's half a revolution or something. There's a it's in the I don't know what oscillation it is, but there's a point meant to be in our orbit exactly behind us, following us, at which the Earth, the satellite won't go into the sun, and it won't get ejected out into space. But it's got these little vector motors on its side, which they've had to use a lot more than they anticipated. And then while the Gaia system is measuring obviously planetary parallax again, all the readings are that haywire, because you've got stars speeding up, accelerating up to just subluminal, just barely subluminal velocities, and then slowing back down again, changing direction and heading the other way. So so they had to bin 6 months of that data. But what they release anyway has been heavily, let's say, the raw data.
Heavily censored.
Yeah. It's massively processed before it's released to anyone,
Yeah. And like you say, they could be getting conflicting data. So they find ways of smoothing it out. And then, that looks right. Because are they really expecting to find something that's really, really different that the current thinking can't explain? So they're not prepared to sort of like go down that path, because all the issues that would come with it. You probably find is some of what you're talking about that some would know, but they're possibly not saying a lot because it's not in any. I don't know. Does it really change anything if you get one?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to the experts, and therefore they don't publish it. They ignore it.
That's right.
And they only publish the bits of data that do make sense to their for their argument.
Yeah.
Well, when all this anomalous stuff comes round, they just, don't be awkward. You flat earther or whatever, and they can't actually explain it.
That's right.
Something just occurred to me there.
Like some of that Tycho Brahe and that, like I like the concept, that of how everything, it makes more sense, if you get what I mean, that everything wouldn't just move in a circle like it's held in place and being whizzed around on a piece of rope.
Yeah.
That there would be, a fair bit of chaos in the system overall. Because if you look at,
I think we'll be able to establish with these some of these planetary rotations are so synchronized, and the orbits are synchronized, the rotations are synchronized in some terms. They seem to all that fall on these integer numbers rather than so they're all on the frequencies. So
well, you look at that order within chaos.
Yeah.
You have.
You have. I mean, I think in a Birkeland current, Don Scott was illustrating, and Jim Wenninger, that if you get into these, into the concentric layers, which opposite and rotate in different directions, now as you move from one sort of XY motion, the vector then starts pointing outwards, and then pointing back down to the other direction. So you get this vortex, this petal-shaped vortex that Buddy describes. And I was wondering, and then if you get a pair of these that are interacting, just like you get this kind of yin-yang dance with sort of nothing in the middle somehow, which is where the Earth appears to be.
Got that, Ramon? See what Ramon just put up, Nick?
No.
Well, I'm not trying to change the topic. I was just sharing what I'm working on in the background here.
Yeah, sure. And I'll
sort of some of.
I'll have a look in a second.
No, it's sort of, like I'm not sure whether it was on, movement of planets and systems.
No, I'll have a look in a sec. Yeah, But I've seen this. Have you got access to this universal sandbox by any chance?
You mean which one's that?
I have it.
Is that planetary? Is it the planetary sandbox?
No, I just have Universal Sandbox, and I have the other one, well, anyways, it's a space simulating, fly through space, uses procedural generation, etc. It doesn't really have physics; it just has tracking.
Yeah, because I saw someone guy using it to try and illustrate how binary stars rotate in the theory, in a theory, and I just wondered if you could use that to kind of simulate sort of binary systems that interact, and we could put the same dimensions as.
It's not open source, so it's all Newtonian and Copernican based. So you wouldn't be able to simulate the Tychosian stuff because you don't have access to the root code.
Yeah, sure. I was just wondering that. Well, I'll have a look what is available, because something will be. And I had a good look in the code yet, but I'll probably end up talking to Patrick Almquist, who wrote this program anyway.
Don't you already have this new gaming engine that you were talking about? I mean, wouldn't that be the most ideal?
Yeah, at some point, but I've got to build that computer for that yet. Yeah. Certainly, yeah. So I mean, it's all part of the process, yeah. But I'm just for the moment, I'm just looking for tools that could help really, yeah. So I'll have a look what's about anyway in terms of that, because I have seen someone using that. I mean, I think it would be great to write something like that for Unreal Engine, because you just get so much polish in that thing, absolutely beautiful what you can do with light and things, So yeah, one for the future maybe. But yeah, for now, I'm interested in how you can model these binary systems, how they're meant to work. I mean, what's our relationship if we're in a binary system with Sirius? And we're meant to be travelling around another star after that.
My patience here. I've got to go. My patience here, and then after that, I've got a business call. But it was a pleasure talking with you, gentlemen. I look forward to continuing it soon.
All right, cheers, Ramon. Nice to speak, mate. As always, all the best.
Absolutely. All right, I've got to.
Yeah.
I'll stop recording then, Nick.
Okay, Bob.
All right then.